Limits? One day somebody told me the sky was the limit after I told him about my desires and what I wanted to do in life. So I looked up and told him, "Sir, I don't see my limit. Something is wrong with your words." He said, "It's just a saying, son." I said, just a saying? A saying which has the capability to put a human within a limit? I mean, you did say the sky is the limit as a form, as advice towards me and my desires. Correct. Mind you, I'm about 19, 20 years old, speaking to a much older man about in his 40s or 50s. Anywho, the man says, "Young man, my advice to you is to dream big, and a saying for that is, the sky is the limit." So I said, "Well, sir, there's a couple of flaws in your advice." He said, "You're just a little boy in this thing called life, son." So then he goes off about his success, his accolades, and all this and whatnot, and I just chuckled. The reason why I chuckled because I knew I was about to give him the blues. But anywho's, as I'm chuckling, he interrupts me and says, "What's so funny?" I said, "Sir, do you know me? Do you know who I am?" He said, "Yes. Yes, I do. You're a college student athlete who plays football, runs track from Kissimmee, Florida, who basically wants to change the world with your desires, but knows little to nothing about success or taking helpful advice. Now, do you know who I am?" So I chuckled again. I chuckled again. And I said, "Yes. From what you told me, quote unquote, you're a successful multi-millionaire entrepreneur." That sums it all up, right? He said, "Yes, right, you are correct. So, you would be a fool not to take my advice." Now I busted out laughing this time. So I said, "Okay, sir, flaw number one. Within your advice, you're saying the sky is the limit. There are limits within it. And no human should have limits when it comes to their desires." Now, I'm going to define your saying in two parts, and then I want you to explain to me whether it's still good advice for me to take as a fool, okay? So, first part, sky. Region above earth, the area high above the trees, buildings, etc. Mind you, region is a large segment of a surface or space. So, if the sky is your limit, the region your desires are in, you are not even thinking about the opportunities in the galaxy above and beyond the sky. Second part, limit. Limit. The furthest point, degree, amount, or boundary, especially one that cannot or should not be passed or exceeded. Now, sir, there is two limits, too much within your saying, which gives me two reasons why I would never use your saying when I get your age and speak to the youth who want to reach their desires. I would imply no limits to their desires. None. Flaw number two. In your advice, you said you're successful, right? Now, successful is a record of significant achievements or having achieved or gained much, especially wealth, fame, or power. First of all, success is an adjective, which makes the word an opinionated word. For the simple fact, an adjective is a word describing a noun, which we all know is the person, place, or thing. In this case, it's a person, that person being you. But I personally know that every noun has multiple descriptions according to whose point of view it's coming from. So before you say I should take advice from you because you're a successful multimillionaire entrepreneur, maybe you should check yourself on how successful you really are. Yeah, you're successfully owning a business and a multimillionaire. That's all fine and dandy. But you're settling for that status. You're putting yourself in a category, which is also a limit, but we're not going to go there. But you're putting yourself in the category of millionaires when you could be a multi-billionaire who owns two businesses or even more, or even more. I mean, there's really no limit. There really is no limit to what you could do, sir, or what you could be. The moment you're satisfied with being a millionaire and calling yourself successful is the moment you just limited yourself and your desire and your grind and your drive. You limited it. The moment you said you're successful now, that is when you limited yourself. No one should be able to state what your limits are. not even yourself. I don't know my limits because I don't plan on setting any limits for myself, and I look smooth past, smooth past any limits set by any other human. Matter of fact, let me tell you a story, sir. When I was a kid, I used to walk to school. And as I walked to school, I used to try and race the cars beside them. I used to walk on the sidewalk, cars be on the street, and I used to run beside them, try to beat them to a certain point. I always lost, of course. But there was one morning, a cross guard. The cross guard told me, "You'll never beat a car, son." And I said, "Yes, I will. One of these days, I will beat a car." He said, look at the speed limit. It's 30 miles per hour. You kids can't even ride a bike 20 miles per hour. No human in this city is faster than 15 miles per hour on feet, kid or grown up. So just understand, you can't beat a car. You can't even run that fast to keep up for a matter of seconds. After he said that, I was just like, okay, whatever, respect your elders. I didn't talk back or nothing like that. But I didn't say nothing, but I used it to my advantage as my motivation to prove any doubter wrong. So your advice and his advice were quite similar. You both gave me a reason to match your limit or be at a level you're on or take heed to the knowledge you know. But fortunately for me, God blessed me with the talent to self-educate myself. So when I hear the so-called good advice, I can evaluate it thoroughly and come up with a conclusion whether should I apply it to my life or not. Gratefully, I'm not belittling my limits to the sky with your advice. And as far as the cross guard, well, even though I didn't respond to him like I'm responding to you, I didn't apply his limits to my life either.
20. It says 20. My dog did it. He did it. He's happy. He's happy. My dog did that.
20 miles per hour, man. Human speed, man.
My dog did 20 miles. Yeah, I think I get
20 miles per hour,
16,
man.
17.
You see the DATSLIFE on, it's a new again, it's 5 hours.